Good day, and welcome to the John Baillie Show. And we are going to continue with our journey with Peter Godinez, who is going to help everyone learn about his crusade and what sales is all about. And everyone is a salesman, whether they know it or not. I guess I can say a salesman, right? That's
where everybody likes a controversy, so an oppositional. So we'll talk about that.
We'll talk about that. So it's my pleasure to introduce Peter Godinez.
Thank you for having me back. I was afraid I wasn't going to get the phone call, John. So.
Well, you know, it's fascinating. And the reason it's fascinating, because I believe every person is a salesperson. And every person knows what to do, but they don't do it. And they're afraid. And they're afraid, I think, of the word no. And that's why they really don't get into sales. I mean, if you're a bookkeeper and you've got to go into your boss and make a presentation, that's a sale. I mean, you want him to agree with you. I mean, children are salespeople. Mommy, I'll be good if you give me some candy. Mommy wants them to be good, so she compensates them. That's a sale. And there are a lot of people out there today that don't feel comfortable with the word sales or salesperson.
Ooh, you gave me chills when you said that,
but,
yes.
You know, it's the kind of thing, what do you say to everybody about being a salesperson?
You know, what first comes to my mind is I get a chance to be in front of high school students in the position that I'm in. And one of my favorite questions, and I've been in an auditorium of 250 students, and I'll ask the question, who here would like to be a salesperson? And nobody raises their hand. But then I say, well, how many people here love music or arts? Practically the whole room raises their hand. I'm going to give another goal, I say. What if you were to be a musician and you had 1,000 people who loved your music and you were making a comfortable living doing that? Would that really kind of turn you on? And everybody just laughs. You know, tell me more. So again, the word salesperson, again, coming from marketing, would you eat hot dead chicken or fried chicken? They're both the same thing, John. But which one kind of strikes a ew? You know, which one goes, wow, I gotta go buy and get me a bucket or something? Make sense?
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's all in the presentation.
All in the presentation.
It's all in the goal.
Exactly.
The goal is to get to the end in a positive way, to get your value of your product or service to someone else and get compensated for it. You know, I come back and I look at it today, and there are some people that are salespeople and other people just don't believe they're salespeople. How do you turn around and convince those people that they are salespeople?
You know, it's all into the deciding what one person wants to do, because there is not one career that anybody can throw at me that involves a transaction of somebody handing up and giving you money in cash, check, credit card, electronic wire, warrants, as you say in government. Somebody's the customer, somebody's the one promoting, and action's being taken. And I challenge anybody, throw something at me. If everyone, well, plumber, well, guess what? You need clients. You know, if you have no clients that have stuffed up type of stuff, and you have a bad reputation of showing up late and not doing a good job and overcharging, how many clients do you think you're gonna have, John? So that's what I'm talking about, that everybody needs to take the dynamics. And again, we use the word salesperson as a place marker, but I'll say something like a promoter, a proper buying behavior, a promoter, treating customer service. And behind the scenes, somebody has to be giving somebody some money. And again, if you work for the government, who's the client? Taxpayers. And that's like a whole different episode in itself.
One of the things that I value in a company is the telephone receptionist. Because the telephone receptionist is the first person that is going to talk to a prospective customer and how she or he handles that prospective customer. And some telephone operators are just, hello, what do you want? He's busy, he's in a meeting.
Yes.
Well, he's got voicemail. Why don't you go to voicemail? I'm busy. I mean, gee whiz, there's a human being on the other end. Now, that telephone receptionist is not going to get compensated for a sale. The company is. And meaning there are people involved with the company, whether it comes to production, we're going to do the best production manufacturing job for this client because we want more business.
Exactly.
And in turn, the telephone receptionist, gee whiz, what can I do for you? I'm sorry, he's in a meeting. Can I call you back? Blah, blah, blah. I mean, warm, friendly, helpful. And I think that is so important today. And it's almost to the point that I think it's a little bit of common sense. And basically, it's common courtesy to treat people the way you want to be treated. You know, when you talk about a crusade, what is one of the things that really comes to your mind that you would like to help people understand what the sales world is all about?
What I'd want to tell them is, first of all, if you're going to go into sales, you better have the right personality, you better have the right temperament, the right discipline, because not everyone can be a salesperson. It is a tough career, a lot of rejections. The old traditional way, again, the opposing forces, there are a lot of people who say, no, cold calling, it works for me. I'm old school. Well, guess what? Here's the opposition of the Crusaders saying, you're out of your mind. You know, or in fact, if you make 100 phone calls, you can get 95 rejections and maybe a 5, okay, maybe I'll see you. See, that's what I'm trying to message, that not everybody can go and be a salesperson. Just like not everybody can go and sign up to be a Los Angeles Ram and a quarterback. You know, you have to have a gift. You got to take your hits. It's a tough career, and the traditional way makes it harder, John. And that's what I'm saying. The message I want to say, there is an easier way, there's a more fun way that everybody can do it, not just somebody who has the personality, the perseverance to take no. That's what I'm trying to get out. Everybody can be a promoter. And in this case, I call myself an ambassador because I don't want to be a salesperson. That's like the last person anybody wants to hang around at a cocktail party. Not that I hang around cocktail parties all the time.
You know, it's kind of interesting. I know there are a lot of people out there that hate being a salesperson. I know there are an awful lot of people out there who have got a talent and have an ability like a doctor, but they have no business experience, they have no sales experience, but they're just wonderful at being a doctor. They're still a salesperson because they want those patients to come back. Why do people really hate salespeople?
Because there have been so many people in the past, both to a very intense degree, to a subtle degree, that have made it bad for everybody. That's like trying to manipulate people, saying things that you really don't mean. Well, gee whiz, you're the most handsome man in the world, aren't you? You know, that's just one example. It's a manipulation. You ever heard the term buyer's remorse?
Oh, sure.
I really don't think there should be buyer's remorse. That's like eating a meal and go, oh God, that really hurt my stomach bad. I probably shouldn't eat it. No, I should have eaten it. You know, so you see how crazy I am about the fact that everybody should be doing, and your example about the receptionist, I wanted to say, not that I'm going to embarrass them and say their names, but I know at least 5 example people started as receptionists, and they're at the C level of organizations. It's because they knew how to treat people.
And that's what it's all about.
That's what it's all about,
And
John.
you know, it's kind of interesting because you come back and you look at what you've done and where you're coming from and where you're going. And I think that's what you're trying to convey to people out there today when they come back and they say, well, I'm not a salesperson. I don't sell. I don't have an order pad. I don't make presentations. But yeah, you're a salesperson, whatever it may be. If you're trying to get a promotion, whether you're just interviewing for a job, wow, that's a big sales job right there if you're going for a sales interview. I look at it today that people are almost afraid of the word no. And for me, when somebody says no, I come back and say, terrific. What I'm talking about is not getting through to them. Now I got to find out why they said no, because I want them to say yes. And that takes planning, that takes listening, that takes patience, meaning you're not going to get the order or you're not going to get the sale that day. You might get it in 2 weeks or a week from now. But the point being is, if somebody says no, just don't, well, I'll never go back there again. You got to keep going back.
Yeah, and I'll build on it again. This is what the nice thing about our conversation is, there's opposing viewpoints, or I say point of view, if I can just say that. Meaning that I look at it this way, I want to be able to be in an audience of 1,000 people and say, who here eats meat? And the people who raise their hand, I go, could you please leave the room? And so I assume everybody here is a vegetarian. And everybody goes, yeah. Okay, and then narrow it down further. How many people here like dairy? And if they raise your hand and say, could you please leave the room? Okay, this is my audience. And just to go back to my Xerox days, a lot of the people who I was being mentored by, John, were just, I want to say lucky, but they just had the right customers who had the perception, they believed in Xerox already, they had good experience, they loved the technicians, they knew they were going to make a decision with Xerox, and guess what? You could forecast that 12 months out and know I'm going to make this amount of money and I'm going to go to President's Club. Now, in all due respect to those people, I honor them, but don't let your head get too big because you were blessed. And that exact thing you're talking about, perseverance, John, only a certain percentage of the population can actually have that perseverance. And even though I can be considered a salesperson, I don't want to say no. I don't want to hear no. But I would like to reduce, my chances of rejection and realize I have a certain marketplace niche who are going to say yes more often and who treat me with a lot of respect while they say not yet. But is that too specific or too much of a crusader coming out of me, John?
No, it's right on.
Okay.
No, it's right on. And the reason it's right on, because everything is training.
Yes.
Everything is learning.
Exactly.
And everything is on-the-job training. And I remember the first company I worked for, excuse me, that they called everybody a professional salesperson. And I didn't believe it. I didn't feel like a professional. And in turn, I remember 2 years later, I was driving home to Cleveland from Detroit, and I'm on the Ohio Turnpike, had a great week, and I said, I'm a professional salesperson. I believed in it because I met all the stumbling blocks, and I turned all my stumbling blocks into stepping stones. And it was gradual. It wasn't easy. But I just built my reputation, built my income, and it was fun. Sales to me is fun.
Mm-hmm. And that is who you are. And so it's a big question, what about everybody else?
There you go. Now, is there a secret you have that you'd like to communicate with anybody to help them go forward in their sales career?
What I'd say is for people who want to develop their sales career, that's a specific thing. So I can teach you all day long techniques in terms of how to close, how to forecast, how to do all these things, how to give a good demonstration. But really, that's not what I want to do in this crusade. So I'm sure we're running out of time here, but hopefully you can have me back and we can talk a little bit more about the specifics in regards to the foundation. I'm going to show you my hands. As to I want to call it the epiphany that I have. And maybe I brought this, but maybe I'll show next time in regards to what this right here represents as to why I have the right and privilege to be standing in front of you and having a chance for the world to make a decision as to what I'm talking about, John.
Well, you'll definitely be back. I mean, there's no question about it, because this is going to be going on and on. It's something that we can do for infinity, because it's so massive and people need help today, especially in the marketplace, because the marketplace is changing on a daily basis because of social media and technology. It's not like what you and I was like when we started, but in any event, you'll be back. And I'd like to thank everyone for watching, tuning in, and Peter definitely will be back. And I hope everyone has a great day. Stay well.
The John Baillie Show, brought to you by JB Broadcasting. Ideas communicated daily.